Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Douglas Wise, and I'm excited for today's session where I will help you visualize the path to sales excellence. We just heard from Oracle's product team about the great innovative products that are currently on the market, and we have even more to come to the future. So, Michelle, thank you very much for joining us. We're happy to have you. Welcome.
Doug, thank you. I'm really glad to be here.
When I look back at Larry and Rob's conversation on the future of CX, it's all about connecting your data end to end. However, almost half of companies struggle and admit that they don't have the right technology to take advantage of their data. And this leads to some significant business challenges. Luckily at Oracle, we've worked with thousands of companies spanning across multiple industries and all sizes and have observed some key learnings and strategies that successful companies are using in order to succeed in the experience economy and beyond. This really led to the creation of the path to sales excellence. The path to sales excellence is a journey that falls into three buckets. It's about building a data foundation centered around the customer, unifying your data on a common platform across your business, and delivering prescriptive experiences for both buyers and sellers. The ultimate goal of sales excellence is to leverage technology to drive revenue at a reduced cost. Michelle, we look back and this sounds quite simple. However, companies are still struggling with bad data.
Yeah, we work with so many companies of all different sizes and all different industries all around the world. So it's really interesting to me that there are some very consistent ways that bad data starts to manifest in the selling organization. So we just recently partnered with Dennis Pombriant from the Beagle Research Group on a report that takes a deep look at how bad data ends up causing really serious problems for sellers, like a seller contacting a prospect more than once, or calling the prospect a wrong name, or calling a prospect who already owns the product or service that you're trying to sell them. So I know, Doug, that just happened to you, right?
Yeah, just 2 weeks ago, I got a call from a seller trying to sell me a customer data platform. And I constantly get emails about, check out our new marketing automation platform. And, mistakes do happen, and I give people, some leniency. But when we look at the data, it happens too often. And it's just crazy to see that, how often these experiences, do come up. And it really is embarrassing for both the brand, but also the seller and the customer.
Yeah, and really the most common issue that's causing this is just bad data entry. And that can mean a lot of things. That's data that's not being entered into the system at all. So these are sellers who are just doing the Rolodex method and keeping all of their notes outside of the CRM, or it's data that's being entered incorrectly, or it's data that's being entered that's a duplicate of other records that are in the database already. And then the next big challenge is that that data gets outdated so quickly. So, even if you are getting your customer data into the system properly and consistently, it's not something that you only address once. I mean, if you think about the market conditions that we're all working in right now, so many businesses have shifted to a smaller headquarters. People are changing jobs all across the board. There's so much change going on all the time, and it's just accelerated right now. If sellers can't trust that the data in the system is accurate, they're not going to use it. So then what you find is your sellers are pivoting over to LinkedIn to find out who are the contacts they want to prospect out to. So then they're not working in the CRM. They're not putting good data into the CRM. And so you're not going to get the benefits out of it that you want. And then the third big challenge, and this one is probably the hardest to tackle, is data being held in silos and spreadsheets. It's a very tactical problem to solve for obvious reasons, but I think when companies recognize the real cost of this problem, this is where we start to see businesses who are ready to innovate and really drive digital transformation initiatives, knocking down those silos, moving past their dependency on exporting data and moving spreadsheets around. That's where all the magic really starts to happen in CX. That's where better visibility unlocks new opportunities, better opportunities for collaboration as well. And you can start to get much more useful insights from your investments in AI and machine learning. So I think a great example of this, Doug, is Aon. They're a huge global brand, and they really tackled those data challenges head on. So Aon is a global professional services firm. They have a broad range of risk and retirement and health solutions. And when Oracle first started working with them, they were struggling just to get a consistent view of their customers across all of their divisions globally. And there were just silos baked in to the way that they operated, because they had about 10 different instances of previous CRMs that were all operating separately and simultaneously. So capturing customer data was an enormously cumbersome process. Their employees had to go into multiple systems to get information in, and getting any kind of value out was more problematic. Reporting in this scenario was a nightmare, because they were pulling spreadsheets out per office, consolidating those into one, and then doing analytics on the spreadsheet data, which by that point could be weeks old. So it just wasn't delivering the insights that they needed or giving them the visibility that they wanted across all of their departments and regions. And it was costly. They had to rely on third-party contracts to fill gaps on top of all those multiple CRM systems. And so their costs were going through the roof, and their technical resources were tied up just maintaining that massive disconnected system. So what they did is they consolidated all of those CRM instances into a single footprint with Oracle CX Sales. And they did the exact right thing. And they devoted their big initial focus to customer data management and data enrichment. And that makes sure that all of their data is clean, it's complete, it's trusted, and that it would stay that way over time. So they called that initiative Aon Connect, and it's ended up giving them all that transparency and visibility that they wanted. So their sellers can see each other's CRM activity across all the different lines of business. They can see each other's accounts, their opportunities, the way other sellers are engaging with customers. So everybody's working much more efficiently and effectively. And then on the back end, IT has been able to massively refocus their resources onto the bigger, more strategic projects like improving analytics and reporting, because they're not stuck in all of that manual data consolidation effort anymore. Everything is working properly. So they can do more, they can innovate more, and they're now in the process of implementing Oracle Autonomous Data Warehouse. So with all those CRM systems, all of those third-party app exchange contracts out of the way, they've done all this and also ended up saving 50% with a cost reduction.
That's incredible, Michelle. And I really do believe that Aon epitomizes what it means to build a data foundation, because they set up to build this strategy around their customer data. When we look at what a data foundation provides, you first have to ask yourself, is your data setting your sellers up for success? Are you missing out on opportunities because your sellers don't have the right information? Or even worse, your sellers are making huge tactical errors because the data is putting your sellers down the wrong path. Creating more relevant and meaningful customer experiences all starts with enriching your customer data, aligning sales and marketing, and breaking down the silos to become more successful. We saw this with Aon, and they were able to not only simplify their tech stack and save 50% of their costs, but they were able to do so and create this complete customer view across their global organizations, which is going to help them make every customer interaction matter. So moving from a data foundation that's centered around the customer, we now talk about how do we bring this across your business. So the second leg of the path to sales excellence is about moving to a unified platform. This is about connecting your business end to end using a common data model, which eliminates roadblocks for both your buyers and sellers. Sellers have a lot to juggle, and so do buyers. I know this. I'm a buyer myself. I also sold CX applications in the experience economy. So by removing these roadblocks that both buyers and sellers face, it does allow for buyers to get what they want when they need it, and for sellers to focus on the opportunities that matter most. Aligning your business on a common platform end to end, this is connecting your sales, service, commerce, marketing, and tying that into your ERP, your supply chain, your HR systems. This makes it easier to open up new revenue streams and to pivot to new business models such as subscriptions, and easily extend your brand through new channels and provide faster and more accurate quoting. A good example of this I see is Broadcom. They were able to significantly reduce their seller churn rate and reduce their business expenses by going on and moving to a common platform. Michelle, can you share more about this?
Yeah, absolutely. Broadcom went from being a traditional semiconductor manufacturer that had a very set customer base of very large, long-standing accounts, and then they had a merger. They acquired CA Technologies, and that ended up just completely changing who they sell to and how they do it. So now all of a sudden they're supporting thousands of accounts with thousands of renewal cycles in this completely new market. So they knew that they needed a CRM strategy that was going to help them tackle this new business, but they were very strategic about how they went about it. They wanted to build from their back office system, which would then create a singular view of their customer. By going about it that way, that's enabled them to really get proactive around their renewals. It's making their sellers more successful, which then leads to a major reduction in their seller churn. And those sellers are more efficient because they have all of that good quality, validated customer data that they're working from. And they also have all of the tools that they need embedded right into their CRM experience, like CPQ.
Yeah. This is another great example of what it means to run on a unified platform. When you hear the term digital transformation, you think of this really long, drawn-out process that may take years to complete. However, when you look at what a unified platform brings, so bringing your front office and your back office on a common data model, Broadcom is able to go through this transformation in 6 months. I think this is incredible. And with that, they did reduce their cost by 40%. But now that they're running on a common platform, they're now looking to the future, and this is prescriptive experiences. This is leveraging AI to put your sellers on the right path, and they're doing this currently with Oracle Data Fox. So this brings us to the final leg where it all comes together. It's the optimization point for your sellers. It's persona-driven, guided experiences that gives sellers everything they need, whenever they need it, wherever they need it, from whether they're an inside sales rep, they have all the information there that they need, or if they're in the field or a partner, we can now extend our AI capabilities to help prioritize their accounts, expand their total addressable market, and that can be delivered in the field or extended to your partners. I think that's incredible. And really, it's about meeting the customer needs in moments that matter. So making sure that marketing, sales, commerce, everything's aligned, every touch point that you have with the customer is relevant and meaningful. So this ultimately creates the ideal buying experience.
Yeah, Doug, this last stage is really the pinnacle. Once you have all of that high quality data that's driving all of your activity in all of your applications that are all working together on a common platform, this is where you can start doing all of the really interesting and innovative things. You can leverage that strong data foundation in new ways by using machine learning and AI to start surfacing really valuable insights and intelligence that help a seller target exactly the right prospect at exactly the right moment with exactly the right message. And you can embed all of those insights throughout the seller experience that you've optimized, because all your core selling applications work together for every single distinct selling persona. So for example, for a partner reseller, you can create a custom portal. You can pull together customer information, service history, any other resources that are going to help that particular persona develop stronger customer relationships, which in turn then help you grow your business. So we heard from Rico earlier about the experience that they're building for their digital seller, their inside selling persona, where they're pulling together relevant sales, marketing, telephony tools all together in one single feed on one screen, with all of the tasks ordered based on AI recommendations and with customer intelligence infused throughout every single step, so that those particular sellers can work at the speed and velocity that make them successful in their very unique role, which is very different from what a field seller needs. But when you have all of the right data, you have all of the tools at hand to interpret and act on that data, everything is working together. You can construct these highly personalized experiences for any kind of seller. surfacing exactly what they need at any given time to move business forward. And essentially, that is giving sellers superpowers.
I think that's a good way to put it. I don't know what superpower you would want, but if I was a seller, I would want to know what my customers are thinking, what their buying signals, what buying signals they're putting off, and be able to respond to that in the moment that matters, right then when we're trying to solve their problems. So if we look at the path to sales excellence, we talked about building a data foundation that surrounds your customer data. And this will break down your silos. This will align sales and marketing, and it'll give your sellers the information they need to succeed. Now, if we move to a unified platform, this is connecting your business end to end on a common data model on a unified platform, which will remove any and all roadblocks that your sellers and buyers face. We've seen Broadcom open up new subscription models within their business. This really does give businesses the flexibility to pivot in whatever the experience economy brings them. And then we're putting that in hyperdrive by building out prescriptive experiences to fit the needs of each individual seller, whether they're inside sales, field sales, or extending AI capabilities to partners. I think this is something that's really important, and the fact that you can make every customer interaction matter because you can interpret those buying signals in the moments that matter. This is something that really is going to help move your business forward. And it's simple. It's by following the path to sales excellence. So I've enjoyed talking with you all today. Michelle, I've enjoyed having you on. I think you shared some great insight how our current customers are currently following this path to sales excellence. So I just want to say thank you all, and please do be on the lookout for some of that Beagle research that we talked about. That's going to be emailed to you after this session, and we appreciate it, and we hope you have a great time and happy selling.